And that was the USB connection. What do you think about that, Justin?
What the fuck was that?
Hey everybody, it's time for yet another Fearless Gear Review. This is my independent gear review show supported by my patrons and not the manufacturers. That way I can give you guys an honest, unbiased opinion instead of bowing to the manufacturer's wishes in the hopes that they'll send me free stuff. Free gear is great, but an honest review is priceless. Okay, so as you guys heard from the intro, we are checking out the Marshall Code 25. This is their attempt at grabbing part of the small digital practice amp market, part of which you can see on the back wall behind me. And now this would have been fine 10 years ago, but these days I really don't see the fucking point of these things. More on that at the end of the video. Heavy on the moron. So, as you heard, the USB output on this thing is pretty much useless on a PC. The latency is atrocious, and the artifacting is more unpleasant than listening to Britney Spears without auto-tune. There are no downloadable drivers on the Marshall site either. Way to support your product, Marshall! But glad you can use ASIO for all drivers. Yes, that's certainly an option, but I am reviewing Marshall's product, not a third-party workaround. So the Code mounts a 10-inch speaker that leaves a lot to be desired. There is no jack for an extension speaker, so you are stuck with what's on board, and well, that's not a good thing. There's room for 100 presets, and the amp can be controlled by an app via Bluetooth. Now, I gotta admit, the app is damn impressive. There's loads of controls and tweaks. You can easily access different amp models, effects, and speaker cabinet emulations. But because the USB output is more useless than 4 bass players trying to screw in a light bulb, you'll want to record over the headphone connection. Because as I just demonstrated, the onboard speaker is just plain fucking terrible. And to make things even worse than they already are, the onboard presets are just fucking horrible. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to subject you to any more of those presets. Take my word for it, they suck. However, using the app, you can delve into things and tweak it so it's not so completely ghastly. And the clean tones are... Of course, the big test is, how well does it sound in a mix? Well, we just happen to have Justin Estocado and Mike Wisnuck on hand, so let's give this thing a trial by fire and see how well it holds up. I can't say I'm particularly thrilled with this thing, and I certainly wouldn't be rushing to put the code sound on a record. There are certainly better options available. For direct recording, the Ignite Emissary is free and will blow the doors off this thing. And for small gigs, a Joyo Zombie with a Harley Benton 1x12 will cost you $40 more than the code, but get you a real Celestion Vintage 30 and something that sounds great, not just mediocre. I've got links to demo videos on both these alternatives in the video description below, and I'll put cards for them at the end of the video as well. If you're looking for an affordable option that will sound good, start with watching those videos. So this is what I really hate about these little amps. They do many, many things, except the most important thing of all, and that's deliver great sound. I'd rather have an amp give me one good sound than 100 lame ones. Now, I don't hate this nearly as much as I do as that Line 6 or what's left of it back on the wall there. In my opinion, it does offer better sound than the Spider series. And that's because the cabinet emulations are simply better. But better than the Spider does not mean sounds good. I mean, come on, really? This is what Marshall means nowadays. Marshall is a legendary brand. Their amps have been all over rock and metal. I could do a 3-hour video just listing the important records that Marshall has been part of. The JVM and JCM 800 alone are just fucking incredible. I think that if Marshall wants to offer up something worthwhile, they'd be better off developing an affordable plugin that models their classic amps. The 10-inch practice amp really doesn't have much of a use these days when there are software options that simply sound better for less money. And let's make no mistake, the Code 25 does not deserve the Marshall badge, and for that, it must die. Let's head on over to the Scare House in Windsor, Ontario, and put this thing out of its misery.